Hello, BookTube. I'm Peg, and welcome back to my channel. Well, it's about 10 days since I've been here on my own porch making a video, and I'm glad to be home after a wonderful, wonderful time. It's actually already much cooler in Pennsylvania than the last time I was here, so maybe autumn is approaching. I've named this video after words from Steve Donahue entitled The Happiest Event on BookTube, and that's what this is about. Sean and Kenji's wonderful wedding in Canada that I went to. It was one of the happiest times of my life, actually. It was fantastic. I've got some pictures to show you, and Sean has shown some on his channel, and but I want to just talk about a little bit of the experience from my point of view. I went knowing that at a wedding I probably wouldn't get to spend much time with Sean and Kenji, but that was fine. I was going to be there, and I was taking my blanket that you all had supported me through several months of knitting the rainbow stripes, but it turned out to be just fantastic. I was there 4 days, and each day Sean had planned something for the out-of-town guests, a get-together, so we could all get to know each other and have more time with him and Kenji. It was just delightful. Let's see, where shall I start? Okay, well, I'll tell you a little bit about what we did on the 4 days, and then I'll show you the wedding pictures. The first day I was there, actually early in the morning. My flight was delayed, as always. I got to Saskatoon early Friday morning and slept most of the day. And that evening was the rehearsal cocktail party and rehearsal itself. And since my blanket was part of the wedding, I got to be part of the pre-rehearsal ceremonies. So I was supposed to go on the shuttle to the hotel where the party was, but when I went down to get to the shuttle, there was Sean and Kenji waiting, and I gave them their present, and they opened it, and one of my favorite pictures of the whole time is the one of them holding the rainbow blanket. They were so fun to be with and appreciative, and we went from there to the fun party, and I met the family and the other guests. The Japanese guests weren't there yet, but it started out to be really fun. And you know, I had wondered about Kenji, how much English he spoke, and just we don't see a lot of Kenji, and I kind of wondered, but Kenji was fantastic. Sorry, Sean, I might be a little in love with Kenji. But I had a great conversation with Kenji right that first night, and he protests that he doesn't speak much English, but he sure understands a lot. I was babbling away, and he seemed to get everything I said. And I'm here to tell you, Kenji really is much older, quite a bit older than he looks. And he's a serious and smart and charming person. He's had his own life history, and I can just see how much he loves and appreciates Sean. And I just feel so good about the happy couple. Anyway, so enough about that. Let's get on, and I'll show you some of the other the wedding was the next day, so I'll show you some of the other pictures I took. Let's see now. Let's get this working like it should. Okay, well, we're still back to Friday night at the pre-rehearsal party, and Sean and Kenji, bless their hearts, they brought presents from Japan for everyone that was involved in the wedding party, and some beautiful plant holders, dishes, chinaware from Japan, obviously from Japan, hand done, and I understand they hand carried it on the flight from Tokyo, and it was part of the time they couldn't get it in the other upper head, so they had these boxes of heavy china on their laps, and that was much appreciated. But they seemed to have just the special right gift for everybody, and for me, they gave me a small miniature Japanese folding screen. It's just beautiful. I actually have it here. I'm not sure, I didn't unpack it yet, but it's so perfect to me because it fits perfectly on a bookshelf. And so I'll be always able to have it. I'm gonna always have bookshelves no matter what, and to remember this lovely weekend by. It's just lovely. Okay, let's see, we're getting on to the next day. He got married in a beautiful old chapel in the university that he went to. And here's the ceremony beginning. This is John's nephew, Michael. And he is a little Sean if I ever saw one. Just the life of the party. The gentlemen in the back there were a longtime couple, friend of Sean, who sang a duet at the wedding. And okay, let's see here. Here we have, should I transfer it now? Okay, it's going to be crosswise. Here we have Kenji in his man's kimono, beautiful, beautiful outfit. Walking in with Sean's mother, who officiated at the wedding. She's a retired minister, and oh, she did a lovely job. She said just the right things. She told of some of the history of gay rights there in Canada, and the things they'd been through, and it was just wonderful. And at the end, she goes, "And I pronounce you husband and husband," and the whole church just applauded and broke up, and they were just beaming, of course. Okay, let's see. Here is Sean himself walking in with his father. Now I got to get to know his father and mother a lot more as he took us on Monday. He took the out-of-town guests out to the farm, a couple hours drive from Saskatoon, that he grew up on, and it was just wonderful. I had a chance to chat with his father, and I loved it because my own grandfather was a grain farmer in Kansas, several hundred miles south of where he was, but it so reminded me of going to my own grandparents' house, though of course I'm more the age of the grandparents now, but that was just delightful. Okay, here's a picture I took right after the ceremony was over of Sean and Kenji, and they were both just beaming, and I loved that. Okay, what do we have next? This is some of the Japanese guests that came to the wedding in their beautiful kimonos. A lot of them, I think there was 10 people from Japan that came, and a lot of them were his students, and they had wonderful English. They said all due to Sean, their teacher, and they were delightful to get to know and talk to. Okay, what do we have next? Okay. Here is after the wedding, in the evening, they had a huge, wonderful banquet, and here's the picture of Sean and Kenji at their head table, which was raised up a little bit, and what's that on the front? My blanket, or their blanket that I knitted from them. It was so wonderful that they put it in this place of honor, and actually had me come up and give a little talk about how I met Sean, and through BookTube, and how we all kind of knitted the blanket together, as I insisted on showing every stripe as I made it to you all. And I gave him well wishes from all of BookTube. I assumed that you all were thinking of him that day. Now there's one more thing I just have to show to kind of indicative of all the little perfect things at the wedding. Now this, I'm gonna have to, you can't see it real well, but this is the table setting. There were quite a few tables. There were a lot of people there, and each one had he had a decorator friend who did a lovely job. Now this is a block, or a cross section of wood. On each one sat an antique book that came from Sean's, I believe, grandmother's wedding. I mean, they're Sean's books now, but they were different books. And on top of that was an old mason jar with wildflowers in it and crystals. And then there's a bottle of sake. They had a sake ceremony. Anyway, so that's all the pictures I have. But I have to tell you, the next day, Sunday, Sean took all his bookish friends. Now, there were two other book friends from Litzy, I believe, two wonderful women that also had not been shot until the wedding. So we had a great time. We all sat together, and on Sunday he took us all to book shopping around Saskatoon, to some of his favorite bookish places. And he's threatened. I noticed he was video recording during that, so I assume he's going to be showing it. We were quite crazy grabbing books and stuff. And then, as I said, on Monday, we went on a lovely trip out to his parents' farm and ate some great meals. And he also has done a video on the farm, so you can see that. As I said, it was wonderful, just wonderful. And before I leave now, I want to note that I've changed my channel name back to Peg the Book Addict, because I just can't get away from that. I thought I was through with book prizes for a while, but now that some really good ones are coming up, I'm back. Plus, knitting and sitting on the porch probably is about over for the year. It's going to be too cold out here soon. So, after all, it's a lady's prerogative to change her mind. So, after this, I'll be again known as Peg the Book Prize Addict, and there are some great book prizes coming up. Just this weekend is the Australian all of a sudden Miles Franklin Prize, and I'm reading seriously on those. And I have to tell you, one of the reasons I'm so happy that I'm back into book prizes is talking to the Canadian readers there. There was lots of talk about Canadian literature, and I was able to join in because I followed the Giller Prize and the Governor General Prizes last year and was familiar with at least some of their literature. So I plan to follow that again. Okay, again, thanks for everything, Sean and Kenji. It was a wonderful time. Talk to you later. Bye.